Hey everyone, and welcome to the 47th weekly catch-up podcast. It's Wednesday, September 9, 2020. My name is Carson Gibbons, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. B-Rad Colvin.
That would be me.
Looking flamboyant. Who is dressing you nowadays, son?
Flamboyant?
Yeah, like in a good way.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
You look
It's
like
a nice little pattern.
You look like the assassination of Gianni Versace today.
Ah, I like that.
Just dripping.
Yeah.
From the rain and from your fashion.
Absolutely. Both.
So B-Rad just said to me, slow news week, and I beg to differ.
Well,
I see that you brought your little typed out notes, and I have mine as well. We're bringing a level of professionalism to this game.
Yeah. Getting better every week, man.
Well, I don't know about that. Let's just get into the episode, dude.
Let's get it.
It's the weekly catch up with Carson and Brad. Here to talk about the week we done had. It could be sports, religion, politics, we keeping the tabs. You would think they work for Gucci, how they deep in they bag. Get your facts up. On Wednesday we'll be counting the stats up. So turn the volume up till it's maxed up. You know the drill. So tell a friend to relax up and chill. We back up. This is the weekly catch up.
So I want to start this episode out with a quick impromptu shout out. So Tots don't know I'm doing this. B-Rad doesn't know I'm doing this, but listen, your man B-Rad fights through the elements to get to the show every week. And I think it shouldn't go unsaid how grateful I am and how grateful the Tots are that B-Rad has like an 80-mile round trip commute for the podcast each week. And is upset with me when I miss it. So, you know, we got to take a moment to recognize the co-host of this show that really this is not particularly convenient for you.
Not so much, but it is worth it.
Well, that's good. There are days, though, that I'm like, today I was driving home from work and I'm thinking, oh, wow. Like it stays like these. Because a lot of times I'll be honest, like I don't think about it. Mm-hmm. And then the weeks where it's like raining, I'm like, oh, wow. Like I remember having to do that vice versa, going down to Keene one week. And it was like, I got there and my blood pressure was just through the roof.
Yeah, I mean.
I'm like sitting there swearing at CTA.
I was like 5 minutes into my drive and it starts pouring. And then, you know, in Texas, like as soon as a drop of rain hits the road, people just forget how to drive. So. It was a little stressful drive today, but I'm here. I'm in the seat. I'm relaxed. I'm ready to have a fantastic episode with you.
Well, when we activate sponsorships for real and have like a real P&L for the show, B-Rad's getting a racetrack card is all I'm saying, people. Don't ask where we spent it.
Oh,
just
man.
Enjoy the product.
That's great. That's great.
No, but thank you for doing that. And just wanted to, if you don't know us personally, you don't know where we're located and stuff. Yeah. You know, I'm based in Dallas, Texas, and B-Rad is southwest of me, probably 40 miles or so.
About.
So, you know, just due south of Fort Worth and a little bit southwest of Dallas, kind of in the Mansfield suburbs, which is a very nice area.
Yeah.
And teaches down in our alma mater town.
Keene, Texas,
where we got learned real good, where they taught me to speak.
The holy city.
Yeah, they're probably not experiencing.
I will say it was not raining in Keene. I'll just say that. You know,
they never experienced inclement weather.
As soon as I hit Alvarado, it's pouring.
You know, there was a narrative about tornadoes never touching down in Keene because God lifts them up and over, or goes around and just smites those counties that have.
I remember
wet drinking laws.
I remember some of those tornado warnings, and honestly, it was pouring down rain in Keene. And we all had to run to the basement of the gym at Southwestern. I remember that day very clearly.
I'm not sure if I was there that year.
Maybe you were just off campus because it happened early on. It was my first or second year there.
Oh, well, if it was your second, I think I was off campus by that point.
Yeah, but
Thank
anyway.
the Lord.
Anyway, but yeah, so I appreciate you.
We appreciate you, man.
Some love. But yeah, no, it's worth it, man. I look forward to this every week.
Yeah, I miss some elements of a commute in my life. Like I find myself just sometimes I go to Keene to see my grandmother just partially because it's like, well, you know, a nice 60-minute drive would be nice, you know, because I don't typically get that. I don't
Right.
get out on the wide open stretches, and I love road trips. But yeah, I'm sure that some weeks it's a release for you, and then a lot of weeks it's just like makes your blood broil. 'Cause people are stupid. It's raining here in Dallas, and I get into 4 almost wrecks a day, you know, just because I'm mad at people. Like
You're the one about to cause them, though.
I'm trying to prove a point.
Right, yeah. You're too prideful that you're about to get in this car accident.
I will prove a point. I will kill you to prove a point. No, I'm playing.
Are you?
I haven't killed anybody yet,
Yeah.
and haven't even hurt anybody.
Knock on wood.
So, first week of September in the books. It was twice as nice for me this week. I got to see B-Rad on Saturday.
What a wonderful day it was.
We actually went through with those tenant plans that we were.
Mm.
Usually, I just tease people. I'm like, "Yeah, let's totally go do that," and then
Yeah.
it's like, "Don't."
They were
Don't
like
try.
tentative plans.
Yeah. Well, we went and saw Tenet, and boy, howdy, was that a trip.
It was great.
Yeah, it was just
Yo, Carson came out of that movie scratching his head, man.
shut up.
He's like, wait,
It was just all shoulders about it. Like, what happened?
so was that in the past or the future?
I'm like, who's going forward? Who's going backwards? And why aren't they colliding?
Oh man, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I don't think it holds a candle to some of Christopher Nolan's best movies, but I thought it was a good one. It was a nice movie, you know, especially with not any being released since February or March.
Yeah. Expectations were low, I guess. But
Yeah, so I'd
still
take
didn't
anything at that
understand it.
point. But yeah, no, I thought it was a good movie.
yeah, B-Rad is just like the insider over here. He like leans over 5 minutes into the movie and he's like, I bet that's them from the future. And I'm like, what the what? Like,
That's because it's just
when?
one of the tropes. It's one of the tropes of those types of.
I went into that movie realizing that I'd seen a preview half a time on mute and was just like, cool, like stuff's blowing up. Like, let's go see it.
Yeah.
They're in suits. Looks like 007, but it
Yeah.
was an algorithm of 007. Like it was,
Yeah.
you had to be a rocket surgeon to get this movie.
Yeah, I'll admit there were some points that were even like over my head, but I think overall, like it wrapped up nicely. I like how the film ended. Everybody's saying like you'll understand it better on the second view. I would agree with that.
Duh.
I don't think I'll go watch it anytime soon again. I don't know, unless somebody wants to, but
Who is it clicking for when they hear, oh, if I give it another shot, I'll understand it more?
Yeah.
It's like repetition molds it in. Who is that activating a light bulb for?
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't
Man,
know.
alive.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because
But
if I feel stupid
I
in
feel
that
like
movie,
I feel like you could have benefited from seeing it a second time.
boy, get your bleep machine out, boy. But they'll let loose on you. I've been reading David Goggins all effing week, and I am hyped. Stay hard, Brad.
I told you that book is incredible.
Yo,
Can't
I
hurt
picked
me,
that
baby.
up on Thursday after last week's podcast, and I am all but done with it. And it is, I'm
Jeez.
just like, yo, like,
Yeah.
I literally, I went into a call blast the other day. I was about to just cop out after this meeting and go walk the block in between some of my Zoom calls. And I was like, Goggins, baby, like do 10 pull-ups. So I made 10 cold calls. And then I remembered I'd read that morning, like, no, if you're doing 10, do 12, like stay hard. And so I just kept going and like I made like 20 phone calls in a row.
Let's
Ended up, you know, of course I left like 17 voicemails, but then had like 3 complete breakthroughs, like made it to like executive vice president type caliber people, like in their downtime, like caught them. We were able to chat, reactivate some deals, like had some really crazy reactivations, and just was like, okay, like this is, I love the narrative of that book, the arcs that he has, because it's not just like, man, woe is me, I'm down, and then I set my mind to it and boom, success. It's like he goes through success and failure throughout the book and
Throughout
different
the entire
arcs,
time,
and it's
yeah.
like it's not over at the peak. Like he's going to take it back to another realistic level and then apply it to your life.
Yeah.
And the way that it's written, like I bought 12 Simple Rules for a Good Life or whatever from
Mhm.
Jordan Peterson. I figured I really enjoy ingesting high level topics with the way that he breaks them down verbally. So I'm going to love his book, but his writing style, it's like it's not a page turner for me. But I pick up Goggins, and he's like,
yeah, he's talking about the roller rink with his dad, and
he's just like the way that
the way he paints
a picture emotionally, like it's a visceral thing. Like he uses language, Heather and Pilgrim's Progress mom. So definitely don't look it up, but it's an example of like a very successful self-published book from a guy that, like, man, he's provided inspiration to so many millions of people at this point. And literally I applied it this week, and like, it's just cool.
Awesome, man.
Well, I'm really enjoying that book.
I'm glad that you could also benefit from it.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Yeah. I read that while I was taking my master's classes. Got all A's, baby.
Yeah. Well, I think that...
nah, we'll end it there. Moving on.
You know what the difference between the Navy SEALs and SWAU Masters is?
What's that?
Everything. Everything.
Oh.
Every little part. Is this thing still on? Okay. I wanted to see my airwave there.
Whoa.
We're having a studio meltdown today.
Yeah. I don't know.
So in other news,
it'll be fun.
In other news, you also have me down this entire Joe Budden like rabbit hole where he's like in my algorithm now. So I'm just like watching Joe Budden all the time.
Sure.
And I enjoy it. I also love the way they keep it trapped with like the house that they're in.
Yeah.
Like when we have better sound quality than they do, dude.
Yeah. So I don't know about that.
He has the $539 microphone.
Yeah.
On Amazon.
So his producer, because he used to be a rapper, so his producer, they record at his producer's house, and obviously that guy's really good with like mixing and everything. His name's Parks, and so I'm glad that I've got you on that rabbit hole. It was you and I had a conversation about the Spotify deal and him walking away from that. So still be interesting to see.
He's not exactly
how all that
letting
plays
up.
No.
He's like really commenting at large. Did you hear Bill Simmons called him?
Yes. Yeah.
Offered him advice on how to record
Right.
from home or something.
Yeah. And
What was
Joe
that
Budden
all
was
about?
like, do not call me. Yeah. It's because they were all they were like using Bill Simmons to get to Joe Budden, like trying to get him to accept the deal. But at the end of the day, he was saying it's not about money. Like he wants to have ownership. Like he's bringing.
Is there a new deal on the table?
From Spotify?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they turned it down. And it was a lot of money, but he's saying like we're bringing you 9 figures. Like if whenever you take into account like the amount of streams and how much money a stream is worth and everything, like he's literally brought them billions of dollars.
9 figures isn't billions. 9 figures.
Oh, I guess it was 9 figures, huh? My mistake.
It's in excess of 100
million. Yeah. Okay, my mistake.
Right?
I don't know why I said billion.
Yeah. 100 million.
Anyway, 100 million. So
I mean, 9 figures is 100 to 900 million, like in that range.
Yeah, true. Okay, so my mistake for speaking there, but he was basically saying like, I want ownership in this thing. Like, what have you guys done? You did create this platform, which is great. However, after that, like, we're the ones, and he's talking on behalf of like all podcasters and all musicians, that we're the creators, so we should be seeing a bigger piece of the pie, I guess, and also in ownership. Obviously, you can make the argument that like they gave you the platform for that, and they help grow your audience and everything. So I can kind of see both sides. But if you get big enough to where you can be an independent artist or podcaster and bring in all that money and not have to give any back to a company, then more power to you. And I think Joe Budden and company are in that position.
Yeah, this is kind of an age-old squabble on, did Britney Spears sell the records, or did the label sell the records?
Mm-hmm.
Did this perfect example? When I was at my old startup, my first startup, I broke through with this publication site called Medium.com. I started, syndicating some articles, some how-to tutorials for the platform on Medium.com. And one day I got a notification from Medium that a publication on Medium wanted to, have me be a contributing writer because they'd read my story and they wanted it in their publication. And that publication was called Hacker Noon.
Okay.
And they had 30,000 followers at that time. So to me, I had a couple articles on the platform, no following. I was like, oh, 30,000 people? That's huge. So I'm like, of course, have my story.
Yeah.
So I started writing stories for them every day because I'm like, let's get some clout here. Let's get some traffic. And so when I first started contributing, they had 30,000. At the end of my contributions on Medium, they had 500,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And they were collecting email addresses for all of them. They had newsletter sponsorships. These people were making, 5 figures a week, like 10, 20, 30,000, dollars on these sponsorships and newsletter blasts. And eventually, Medium, they also placed banners across the top of Medium because as a publication, you could push something system wide. Well, Medium got wise to this and understood that publications were profiting off of being on Medium and that Medium wasn't cut into that. So because you could post to the top of every story on medium.com, on hackernoon.com, a banner ad that, promised this many impressions, this many clicks to an advertiser, and you were selling that and not cutting Medium in, they disabled the feature to be able to push whatever creative you wanted to the top of every story.
Wow.
And Hacker Noon was able to go back and say, listen, we actually provide Medium more traffic than Medium provides Hacker Noon. And so they exported all of their historical stories and inventory, and they set up shop on a new server, and they pulled a Joe Budden. And so this is a situation where talent is having a squabble with the platform. He has a point, though, when he says, you brought in Gimlet Media, you brought in, all of these podcasts, plus the 500,000 apparently user-generated content podcasts like ours that are on Spotify. He's like, we're number one the entire time, which I didn't quite realize because I don't listen to us on Spotify, but I did more research. Like I looked us up and it's like, oh, wow, this is like, first of all, they give you a very professional facade, in my opinion.
Right.
And I just thought that was like, wow, if you're number one out of 500,000, 600,000 podcasts, including the ones that these people paid $250 million.
Michelle Obama, Amy Schumer.
Yeah. So it's been kind of an interesting scenario to watch. Is he just like going to go back to controlling his own book of business, essentially?
So he hasn't said. I'm assuming for the time being. So he keeps posting his viewership on YouTube, and it keeps going up every time he's posting it. He's almost hit 1 million. I wouldn't be surprised if he considers maybe doing YouTube. But for the time being, I think the word is that like he's just going to be on all streaming platforms, maybe except for Spotify. But I don't think he's going to have an exclusive deal right out of their contract. They only have like 3 episodes left, I think. They only have 2 or 3.
Oh, wow, they're winding down.
Yeah, they're out of there in like 2 weeks. Spotify, a bunch of the companies that they purchased have now gone on strike. Because I guess they're not
solidarity or what?
Not completely unrelated to Joe Budden, but I believe there are like 3 podcast companies. It might have been including Gimlet, but I could be wrong in that. I just know I keep hearing that name pop up. But a lot of them have been going on strike because they feel like they're being done dirty by Spotify as well.
Wow. You're such a darling story until you're the big bad monopoly platform that killed an industry, and then you're the Facebook or the Spotify is now entering this realm for their respective, audiences and users. So, wow.
Interesting, right? Anyway, I'm enjoying Apple Music. It's been great.
Cool. That's great. I watched I have YouTube Music and YouTube Premium, and so B-Rad showed me the new Drake
video, baby.
Drake Khaled. What's it called?
Popstar. Yeah.
That was also trippy. That was kind of a tenant experience as well, but easier to understand for me.
Got that Justin Bieber cameo. I highly suggest if you're into that kind of music to look it up. It's a great video. Drake honestly has been killing the music video game.
He's been killing the song game.
I know.
Does he put out a bad song? Like all his singles are just like, man, yeah.
It's like this one's decent, and it already went platinum like the first day out.
Well, I thought the Migos were on it. Like he's one of those people that
Yeah, because you were like, "Who's singing the chorus
Yeah,
part?" And I'm
I
like,
was like,
"No,
is that-
that's Drake
Is
as
that
well."
Gunna? Like who's on the hook,
Well-
because he has 3 different rap voices in the same song, and he is so much like you go back to like some of his early work and then compare that with even Nonstop, for instance.
Mhm.
Like he can go into his Pusha T, he can go into
Mhm.
his Offset, he can go into his, Kodak Black.
Yep.
He can do anybody.
Trey songs.
He can sing. Like I don't always know that it's him.
That's why he has that line in one of his songs. That's why every song sounds like Drake featuring Drake.
Man, screw that guy.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm waiting for that album to drop. He said it was coming in the summer. Summer is only has 2 days left. It needs to drop, man. But he's been he made that deal with Nike. That's why 2 music videos ago he shot it in the Nike headquarters. But he has a lot of products coming out with them that's all about to be released. I think it's going to be a whole huge thing. Might be apparel plus his album release,
They're trying to tuck albums in with apparel to boost sales.
Correct.
Because he'll sell more shoes than he will albums.
Yep.
And they can count that
as an album.
So that's how they game the system nowadays.
Joe Budden talked about that too.
Did he?
Over the past 2 years he's brought that up a few times.
Got a lot of insight on stuff. I was watching the Akon versus T-Pain snippet the other
because
day.
Akon was over here hating.
Yeah, he was interviewed. So if you don't know,
this is the man that found, I believe Akon found T-Pain.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say to the audience, because I wasn't aware, and I was a big Akon and T-Pain fan back in the 2000s. Back in the day when you're driving around, first car.
Akon and Young Jeezy locked up, and Soul Survivor.
Yeah. That was my favorite. Me and Jake used to. Man, we thought we were so David Goggins hard. I was in my Ford truck, rolling up to class, and I'd have the windows down. I was growing my hair out because I thought I was Dominican and a ball player. I wasn't either. Man, I had a white tee on, man. Okay,
dang,
it was a different day and age. Puka shells were a thing back then.
Yeah, I had the Abercrombie. I had the Abercrombie Fierce cologne with the leather bracelet.
Yeah. I mean, that used to be the hot girl standard. She works at Abercrombie. She's a model, though.
Yeah, game over.
Yeah.
Anyway, Akon and T-Pain.
Yeah, so Akon was the founder of the label and signed T-Pain, found him, signed him, and then they recently had an audio snippet of Akon, and they were saying, how proud of you are of T-Pain, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he was basically oh, man, just great talent. And, I think the reason why he was successful is that he just never left hip hop. He was just always hip hop, and in his lane. He didn't go into Latin or electronic or pop or mainstream like I did, but he really leaned into his lane, and it was kind of like a silent shot fired.
Yeah, and also I feel like he was baited by the interviewer. I feel like the question was phrased in a way I think he kind of asked what's made you more successful and long standing than somebody like T-Pain, and then he kind of talks about that. But Akon's wrong, because T-Pain he's done electronic music, he's done R&B, he has been somewhat versatile. It's not like he's just stayed in the rap lane, so I don't necessarily agree with that either.
Did you see T-Pain's rebuttal?
No.
He said something to the effect of, it's disappointing that people that held you back also can't get over it, or something.
Oh.
It was a definite shot fired.
Yeah. T-Pain's a cool dude, man. I can't, I was shocked that there was anybody that would ever hate on him,
Yeah.
He has an incredible voice. Have you heard him sing without autotune?
I think so. Yeah. I feel like
he gets on that piano, man. He's got a good voice.
I recognize that he's probably the auto-tuned voice of a generation in many ways. It's kind of hard to think that there are a bunch of kids that didn't really grow up on T-Pain already,
Right.
Because he's kind of a has-been in my head to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't had a hit in quite a while. And you could definitely make the argument that a lot of the artists today would not be around if it weren't for him.
Yeah, it's
he created a whole sound.
Yeah. Yeah, trendsetter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Akon back in the day was so money, and now he hasn't put out.
Right. That's another
I'm
thing that I
aware of.
didn't understand is like, why are you even speaking on this whenever you yourself haven't charted anywhere in the past decade?
I don't know if there's been any attempts though, so it's like that's not a valid shot fired. If I'm like, you're like a has been, and they're like, no, man, I'm retired, sitting on 9 figures. You know, I'm on a yacht in Miami.
I guess.
You know what I'm
because-
saying?
Yeah. I don't know. Has T-Pain? I don't know. Has he been trying?
I don't know.
Exactly. Like,
I'm like, are there shots on
They-
goal or?
I mean, I'm gonna look up the last time that
Because if you're putting out music and it's just SoundCloud and like nobody knew about it, then yeah, you're a loser. But if you're sitting on a blank, you know,
Akon
bundle of
released
money.
Akon released an album back in July. So
okay,
so did we hear about that? No. He has no room to talk. Anyway.
he's like, I want to be relevant right now, nah.
That was good, man.
Thank you. Now back to the good part.
Oh, that's silly.
Okay. back to the notes already.
Crank them out.
No, I've just been telling you what I've been ingesting over the last week. So I had the
Yeah.
whole DJ Khaled Bieber thing. Like, go look up the video.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to describe it for you. Talked a little Spotify with Joe Budden just because I'd gotten addicted to that.
Yeah.
Listened to it as I was practicing some golf over the weekend. Got to see you on Saturday, which was cool. Had a good dinner. Watched that confusing movie about math and time,
Mm-hmm.
and went to a nice pool party Sunday.
Yeah. Sweet.
Shout out the cat,
Awesome.
consummate host.
That's what's up.
She lives with her friend Erica, and I was just telling her, me and one of the guys that were there, we were commenting, like, man, the house husbands that you must have over that are so insecure that you two girls have this just incredible landscaping at all times. Like, every time you go over there, it's like new and improved. It's,
Really?
Yeah, it's just funny
That's
and
awesome.
insane. But yeah, shout out to them. Got to watch DJ bring it all the way home. Tour championship on Monday. Just incredible. I was like on Do Not Disturb. I literally was like just glued to the
Locked
TV all day.
in.
Yeah, man, it was incredible. So he won 15 milli, beat out Rom and the rest of the field. It
That's great, man.
was dope.
What's next for him?
U.S. Open.
All right. And that starts this coming weekend?
That's like a week from this week, I think.
Okay. A week from this. So in
Like
2 weeks.
a week from Thursday type deal.
All right.
A week from tomorrow. We're in a shortened week. Like when it was already Wednesday, I was
Yeah.
like, oh wow.
Yeah. That having Monday off was pretty crazy.
Especially having seen you on Saturday.
Yeah.
What'd you end up doing the rest of the weekend?
Let's see. What did I do? I kind of just did my own thing on Sunday. And then Monday, I saw Courtney and got ready just for the week. Teaching has gone pretty well this week. I started all my kids. So I learned a lot of grammar back in middle school, right? Like a lot of proofreading, different things like that. And then in high school, we learned literature. It turns out a lot of my high schoolers are feeling very uneasy whenever it comes to grammar and the rules of writing and different things like that. And so I've actually started a program with all three, my sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And we do that for like a third of the class, and then we've gone back to your regular program. And it's been an interesting week because a lot of my seniors who kind of thought they were good at stuff, whenever I was going over, they were like, what? Like, and we only went over nouns and pronouns this week, but we went into like the different types of pronouns and different types of nouns and how to identify those.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So scary that the future is in their hands.
It was quite shocking that anyway.
I say that, and at the same time, I can't code. They have a higher
Yeah.
propensity to be an online gamer,
Sure.
a coder, prepared for the next generation better than me.
Right.
Better able to go viral than me.
Very true. So, I mean, I'm not knocking them because they definitely are skilled in other areas, but they just weren't taught this. And so I told them, I was like, it's okay if you don't know something. It's okay if you get it wrong. Like this is only to help you improve. It's not, I basically tried to explain to them, they're going to get a grade for it, but it's not going to hold like a lot of heavy weight on them, especially the seniors who haven't had to do this all, and I'm adding this on top of their other work. So I really just want them to feel more confident about it by the end of the year. That being said, I did, my classes are all split in two, and so I saw my second half of kids today, and my second half of sophomores like absolutely crushed it today. They did better than any class. And so I don't know, it was like a nice way to end my day, because a lot of the other students have been complaining, saying it was super hard. And this is like the first week ever that somebody has said my class is difficult, because I didn't really design it to be difficult. I designed it to be more kind of introspective, and they also, gain some writing and reading skills.
You're like, hey guys, I know we're here for math, but what do you guys think about yourselves?
Right, exactly.
How are you?
Well, that's the point of the arts to me.
To feel good?
Yeah, not to feel good, but to
Here's
learn
your
more.
Participation trophy.
No, it's to learn more about humanity. Like, who cares about literature if you don't like take something from it and grow from it?
Well, for sure.
Well, you can't say what you said before and then say, well, for sure.
I don't know, bro.
Well, for sure to that.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know how it goes.
I was proud of my kids today. It was a good day. And then
shout out kids.
And then Thursday and Friday we're having some debates, because we're getting into Frankenstein with the seniors, and so I split the class, and they're going to be debating tomorrow and Friday whether or not I have one class that's pro like cloning, whether it's people or animals or different things like that, and then people that are arguing against it, like is it what's the word I'm looking for? Is it, I guess, humane, or is it
humane?
Is it moral to be to try to clone? You know what I mean? To create life in an abnormal way.
This is gonna be a rabbit hole. We're about to challenge everything you've ever believed in.
Carson's eyes just turned dark.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, if we were created by an eternal, all-knowing God that gave us this set of tools and differentiated us from the other species, are we to say, this is the part that I hate, like, don't use your tools to the fullest extent to explore what could be? Well,
I find it interesting that you're going straight to like a God or Christianity type of pro,
because I feel like I could win this argument multiple ways. I feel like if let's say that if there's no God, then who cares? If there is a God, well, didn't he create us to be just like him? And
I definitely think there are other things to think about besides like who cares. Like if you're all of a sudden just cloning and you can create however many people you want, then you got to think about the amount of lives that are being created. Do we have enough resources for
that? That's management after the initial moral decision
because
is
Earth
made.
Earth is so great at management, right?
Well, no, I mean, it looks like the apocalypse in half of the country right now.
And you want to start adding more people to it, and who
I'm
cares?
not saying it's smart. I'm saying, like, on an eternal spectrum, is it moral or not? Like, who cares in some way? Like,
is it more like
you're asking on
is
this
there moral
Earth?
Ground for humanity? Like, whenever we don't have, a lot of times we don't even have enough resources for the people that are here now.
Well, we have enough resources. We don't have enough distribution in the proper way in some ways, because like there's more than enough food for every human in the world, but humans go hungry on a daily basis. There's an issue though. There's a breakdown in distribution, access,
and that would be enough for me to argue that
no. Listen, I'm pro-choice AF because of this reason. Like, don't catch me tripping. Like, I think there should be fewer of us. We should thin out the herd. I think COVID's been slacking. It should take more lives. No, I'm playing.
I had water in my mouth. I can't.
You guys are over here chanting Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, and All Lives Matter. I'm over here saying in more lives. I turned to Brad earlier, and we were looking out the window as it was just pouring rain. I'm like, it's kind of a blow your own head off kind of day, isn't it?
It's pretty dreary out there.
No, I jest,
folks. We know you're joking.
every life lost is a tragedy unless they wanted to go. And then it's not. It's just death is normal. Death is a part of life. Like, we should all get familiar with that. I feel like in this context right now, I'm thinking just in the grand scheme of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So don't drill in on any particular.
Sure.
Don't soundbite me on this.
We won't.
Thanks.
Oh, okay. Is that
I thought you were going to continue the conversation.
No, I feel like I've already made my point.
Oh, just that there's not enough resources, so why would we clone people?
Yeah.
Well, because I'm not saying that we roll cloning out in mass production. I'm saying we should back engineer the technology to ensure that we can clone people, because what if a meteor does hit and there's 12 of us? You
Mm-hmm.
want brothers and sisters hooking up like Adam and Eve's kids did? Or do you want the ability to clone and reproduce and replenish humanity? I would say the unthinkable happened, but I feel like it's the inevitable at this point, because I mean, half the time I'm walking around, I kind of look at Twitter and I'm thinking, is this like the end of the world? You know, just like low key, and Jesus is coming on the West Coast first, and he hasn't made it to Central Time Zone first.
We got fires going.
Dude, San Francisco looks like Dune.
It's insane.
Like it was 11:30 a.m. and it was pitch orange.
Yeah.
It looked like Trump and Cheetos had been sprinkled all over the sky. Like, I saw this video of somebody going over Golden Gate Bridge, and it was like apocalyptic, bro.
Yeah, it's scary, man. It's scary. So, in like, what would be the point of okay, I guess you're saying
as long as
if the human race is about to die out, like let's open the hatch and start cloning more.
How did we get the hydrogen bomb? Because as you push the limits of science, if you don't discover it first, someone else will. The arms race is one of the biggest things propelling technology forward. Pornography is one of the biggest things propelling technology forward. Sometimes it's negative things that end up producing mass consumer electronics, software platforms, all of these different things. Like the ability to upload video complete with audio loops and syndicate it to your own website. You know what? Who led the freaking charge on that? Pornography, you know? 12 floors of corporate executives and developers, and then the 13th floor, you don't go up there. That's where the naughty product is made.
Yeah.
Like, I've interfaced with some of these companies. You know, the splitting of an atom and all of these different things. Why did somebody need to prove that? Why did somebody need to get to that point? Well, because they knew somebody else across the world would be doing that in an effort to destroy us all. So in some ways, like, if you have quitting the scientific process of like CRISPR and gene editing and all of this stuff, it's like, well, once we think about it, once it's been thought once and it's out there in the ether, how could we not charge forward to an end result there, or an end understanding?
Yeah.
I'm talking more about human nature and the drive to like propel forward.
Sure.
You know, half the things that we've invented have had a very negative applications. They've been abused. You know, think about all the mass weaponry that we've produced and all the amazing things that our armed forces have access to. That is a technological feat and kills people.
Absolutely. And now I want to go on record and say, I could argue for it either way. I just kind of wanted to go against you.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, because if you are pro cloning, you could also talk about just like being able to reproduce certain cells for, you know, if somebody loses like a kidney, or, you know, you can get a cloned, I don't know, spleen or different things like that. And so they're working on it to where they can clone body parts, and it could be formed specifically for you because it's coming from you, you know? So I would, I don't know. There are plenty of points that you can make either way.
There's a split screen and there's an ad on either side. And
Sure.
on the left-hand side, Grandpa has led a good, hard life and, you know, just wants to spend his retirement with Nancy, you know, and the kids. And there's the golden retriever.
Oh,
And he
Nance.
really needs a kidney, and they need to 3D print this cloned kidney based on his DNA base. And he lives a long, full, happy life thanks to Bristol Myers Squibb, blah, blah, blah. On the other side of the split screen, you see this like dark, dimly lit room with, Illuminati or presidents and advisors and princes, and they are socially engineering society. They are engineering certain races out. They are, just taking reproduction into their own hands and not seeing what nature would do with it. And they're reproducing only people that think like them, that will be mutant, like
Right.
same exact technology.
Agreed. So that's why I'm really looking forward to class tomorrow and Friday.
Are you going to videotape that?
Um,
I'm almost fascinated by this, even though they're still learning
so I do
nouns
have
and
some
pronouns.
yeah. I probably will be, like, I record all of my Zoom sessions, and I still have a couple that are doing distance ed, so I'll definitely have it.
Well, maybe you can bring some of the top debate.
Yeah,
topics.
if there's any good audio, I might splice it and attach it to the next episode.
If they're under 18, we probably can't have them on.
Okay.
Is what I'm thinking, without some sort of parental consent written.
Yeah.
We're getting more official, bro.
A lot of my seniors are 18.
You got 18-year-olds learning nouns and pronouns.
That's right, baby.
Listen. Dog ate.
That's right. Yeah, I can't help not having. So actually, a really cool thing for me was whenever I first started the grammar thing on Monday. I have one student that I actually taught back at Dallas Christian Academy. I taught her in middle school, and whenever we came back around this week, and she completely aced it. Like, she was way above and beyond everybody else. So I honestly felt really proud. And then she gave me credit for it.
That's a 6-year alley-oop to yourself.
I know. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Look at you, full circling.
It was
teacher.
It was awesome, man. So
man,
really happy about that.
Man, you are teaching like a pirate, son. Arg.
Oh, I'm over here now. I'm over here.
Just getting that intellectual booty.
I don't like that.
Booty, as in merch, as in like spoils.
Right, okay.
Warring pirates.
Right.
Brad,
got it.
Pervert.
Okay, so we did talk briefly about the fires. So did you read any other fire starters that happened this week?
Well, hold on. Before we get off your students, I want to
okay.
see if one, what was his name? James.
Yeah. He hasn't listened yet.
I love all the shout out to the tots.
He hasn't had time, man.
He got hosed online.
Yo, he really did.
I really love that the tots were like, you know what? Screw that kid.
Yeah. Shout out David, who is also a former student of mine, and he provided some feedback. We also, there were several people.
I think there was like a Dylan that tweeted something.
Shout out Dylan Sargent again. I know you're going to be listening to this one.
Instagram something or.
Yeah. And my mom chimed in. She said that we need to have longer episodes so she has more ammunition to fire back at us. Which. Yeah. So, you're welcome, Mom.
She got into my DM and let me know that I was off the hook. I was no longer in trouble.
That's good.
So we exchanged Twitter pleasantries.
Awesome.
And the reason why I had not interacted back with her was because she's all locked down, like private mode. I wasn't following her. I don't.
Yeah, she does have a private account. Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm not used to seeing. So free your thoughts, Kiki. Put them out there for the world.
Yeah.
We want to see them.
My dad texted me about 5 minutes ago and he said, hey, if you guys are recording, I just sent Carson a joke. So we'll have to look into that. We don't need to do it right now, but just so you know.
As of this afternoon, I didn't have anything before going on Do Not Disturb.
He sent something today or just now. So can't wait.
Goodness gracious. Checking different platforms for your parents' messages.
Yeah.
Shout out to them both. I kind of beat the tots up last week for like never interacting with me or letting me hear it.
Left
and I feel like this week was like just manna every day. Because you had Dylan with his stuff and the other kid.
Yeah.
Kiki, Dean, both of my parents.
My buddy Cam, he hit me up. Because he was telling me that he was about to go see Tenet because he heard us talking about it. I think Brock gave us some interactions on Twitter.
We told the DJ story about him, right?
Yes, about him. I don't think we've.
So I had made the comparison that Brock looks like Dustin Johnson a couple of weeks ago, and he actually tweeted back and said, that he was in an airport or a hotel the other day, and somebody like walked up to him 100% believing that it was Dustin Johnson, and I think he had to like convince them that he wasn't or something.
Yeah.
So I felt more vindicated in that comparison. So shout out Brock, way to be golf number one. He was saying that he brought a group Mexico trip for the podcast.
I know that
and then
hypes me
Heston,
up.
I was like, whoa,
Yes, Heston, yeah.
should we all do this?
Uh-huh.
Heston gave us some love. He was like, the portal, and I was like, which one of these do not match?
The portal.
The portal is like on another level.
Yeah, and then shout out your sister Meredith, because she hit me up. She hit us both up, but you didn't reply because you don't watch it. But she watches Yellowstone, and I'm telling y'all, Courtney and I are now on the 3rd season. As soon as this episode is done, I'm heading over to Courtney's because I need to watch the next episode. The show is insane.
Dude, even people that I had written off or never thought would listen, like I got a text message from my buddy David Richardson, who I played golf with 2 weeks ago, and he was one of those, like, he's like a 37-year-old professional dad. You know, we go way back in business together, networking, and so he was one of those guys that on the golf course had just been like, yeah, I listened to your podcast for like 10 minutes and was like, what is this? And turned it off, and I was like,
Thanks, man.
That's perfect. It's not for you.
Right.
But he texted me this week, and he was like, why didn't you tell the story about he had listened to the part about me throwing up after our golf match, and I had hid from him so he couldn't see me throwing up because I was embarrassed.
Well, no, you haven't told that story on here.
Wait, what? I told the story about upchucking after the round because it was so hot.
Well, then why did he ask why you didn't tell it?
Well, no. He was saying, why didn't you tell the story about X, Y, and Z?
Oh.
But I was so taken aback that he had.
Okay.
So
he listened that far in.
He didn't know in real life that I'd thrown up. Then he listened to the podcast, which I didn't know that he did, and commented on me throwing up and that I'd hid it from him. And then he said, why didn't you tell this story? And I was still like, whoa, you listen, like out of the blue? Because I don't think he's been like an avid listener.
Right.
But he hit me up and he wanted me to tell this story about this par 3 that we were all on. And, you know, he's just flapping his gums. He's just talking that ish all day long. He is the biggest ish talker I've ever met. Okay. So we're just like going back and forth, and I step up and I deliver just a beautiful iron shot. I hit the green. I'm on the front lip of the green, but I'm on the putting surface.
Yeah.
And then he steps up. He hits it within 4 feet of the cup, and his mouth is just going a million miles an hour. Just bop, bop, bop. Then Heston tees off. Heston had a good round. I don't think he hit the green on this particular story, but he had a lot of other good shots where we didn't. So this isn't at his expense by any means. So, you know, David's just running his mouth. I step up to the green. It's kind of ready golf. I deliver a 60-foot putt that goes into the cup for birdie, and his mouth just drops open. I'd adopted the claw grip recently. It's working wonders for me. He steps over his 4-foot putt, misses it. And then I was like, I'm the only one with a birdie. What happened, David? And it was just a David Goggins stay hard, don't give up type of moment. But shout out to David for the shout out there. And I had DMs coming into this from Austin Lunyon on Twitter that he had listened to last week's episode. I haven't read the message yet, but just a lot of people that have reached out, and I appreciated that.
Yes.
You even had a kid do a video or something. What was that?
Oh, no. That was my buddy Stephen Avila. Because
I didn't know if it was Avila or Yaboa.
No. Stephen Avila, because he had seen Appreciate, because he works for the University of Dallas.
Oh, my goodness. That was so fun. So Brad shows me this video on Saturday, and it's kind of like it's a single voice, video where he's like, oh, so I'm looking in my system and I see that we're supposed to do business with a company. Yeah. And I go to look at that company, and it's like,
I'm scrolling down. And
here's the About Us page. Okay, I'll learn a little bit more about you. He's like doing the voiceover, and he, goes down and he's like, okay, Ed, I see, this guy, and Carson.
He's like, I know him. Yeah.
He does like the, he should have just ended it with the, who was Iggy Azalea's, who was her husband?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. The Laker that was on Catfish.
I know nothing about Iggy Azalea, so hold on.
Iggy Iggy, is that who I'm thinking about?
I have no
Who's the other
idea.
Iggy?
There isn't another Iggy. I don't know. You're talking about Nick Young?
Yes, you know the big meme of him where it's like the question
all the
mark.
question marks. Okay,
That's what I pictured him rapping that video with.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that didn't like immediately fire off in your head.
Yeah, I had no idea that they were together. That's like a blind spot in my pop culture knowledge.
Well, oh well.
You know what isn't?
What?
The Kardashians are going to be gearing up for their final season.
They're done.
Yeah.
Their final season's about to air, but Chris, what did she tweeted out this week?
I guess I saw a Kim Kardashian post.
Oh, I think she reposted. Yeah, end of an era, dude.
End of an era. I don't think I've seen a single episode.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Because back when Scott was on it,
I've seen all the clips.
Show was more than watchable. It was like Scott Disick was just, who you wanted to be in some way. If you were me, I was like, I want to be with Kourtney Kardashian, rich, thin, and partying all the time.
True.
Seems nice. But
wonder what he's up to these days.
I feel like I don't know.
No.
I mean, where's Rob, bro? Has anyone seen Bruce? All the men in that family went missing. Just saying.
Oh, you're on point today, buddy.
I'm just saying, but there is a big. Let's talk about this. Let's zoom out for a moment because on the one hand, you're like, oh, just some trash TV finally got canceled. I get it. I agree. However, if you go back to the first poster of the first season of Keeping Up, when it's like all centered around Kim and her goofs and like the rest of the family, and like Kendall and Kylie are like prepubescent, basically. They're not anywhere close to being sexualized even yet. You realize the billion-dollar brands that have sprung out of this, and what a G Kris Jenner is.
Truly,
she is a business maverick, cutthroat CEO woman.
One of the greats.
She is one of the goats because, I mean, Kylie's lipstick brand, a bill. Yeah. Their combined interest generated off of this show as a launch pad. Well, and really, Kim and Ray J. Yeah. Kim really took one for the team to start these brands,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like,
if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So, look how far they've come.
I'm just saying, like, that's, there's so many people out there that are like, my porn doesn't sell anymore, or like, I can't license my music properly, or I can't do record sales. You know what? Kris Jenner took a off-market, for free home edition sex tape and turned it into $5 billion. What have you done recently?
I don't know. You could learn something from Kris Jenner and David Goggins.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Take mud and make lemonade.
Yeah, not everybody looks like Kim Kardashian though, so.
Well, she didn't always look like her either. Khloe certainly didn't. Khloe just became Khloe like within the last 24 months after her 24 surgery.
Well, it was just that one photo, and like I've seen photos of her since then, and she looks nothing like that one. So I think that was just like heavily photoshopped and edited.
I mean, they've been fixed up.
Yes, that is true. But I'm just saying that one that like was trending for several days,
like with her face straight on, where her nose just looks like so airbrushed. Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know, but I think that they are a case study. Like, ownership over your intellectual property, understanding that you can parlay fame into that. They really parlayed their fame and clout into social media and building followings and email newsletters and a loyal fan base, millions strong, that would purchase this product, interact with them in this forum. And, they have a lifetime customer value that's just off the chart.
Yeah.
Because they've done so many seasons that'll get licensed. They're the first of their kind in some ways.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting because they've lasted so long that it used to be, you remember the whole conversation, like, well, what is fame anymore? Like, what do you have to do to get famous? Like, these people are famous for being famous.
Yep.
But they've really capitalized on that.
Yeah.
And they've affiliated themselves with
and gone more than just like TV, you know, like marketing and branching out, like you said, the cosmetics and, you know, I don't know, social media, what are influencers and different books, different, you know, Kim Kardashian has her own clothing line and different things like that. So they definitely
perfumes, books, clothing, music, scented candles,
mm-hmm.
you know, mail kits, appearances, licensing, royalties, you know, just on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Oh, and then by the way, you know, each of them goes and marries, you know, NBA players and rappers, and Kim is with Kanye West, who apparently, according to Forbes, is a billionaire in his own right. What amount of him going off the hook do you think contributed to this, you know, decision?
I don't know, because he kind of spazzed out and like had that whole talk about his, you know, Kim and his daughter and everything has been quiet since then. So I don't even know if they're cool right now.
Yeah. He was like, "You're not going to turn my daughter into a porn star or something?" Or...
Yeah, that. And then he also talked about like how him and Kim talked about aborting her.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was wild. And so yeah, I haven't really heard a peep as far as her thoughts on that since then.
You know, one of the unsung heroes of really discovering them and putting them on the map and sticking by their side the entire time is Ryan Seacrest.
Oh yeah,
he's the executive producer and, you know, co-founder creator basically of all the Keeping Up. Like, he was there from the very beginning and is low-key one of the hardest working men in Hollywood, if not the hardest, because I think he still does morning radio every day. Top 40. He does, you know, Rockin' New Year's. He's got a billion shows. Isn't he on? He's on like a daily show. He's on E! He's an executive producer.
Does he still do American Idol?
I don't even know if that's still a thing, but he did that for like almost 20 years, it seemed like. And, you know, he's just so busy and is probably sitting on, he's probably got 9 figures at this point.
I'd hope so,
with everything
for the amount
going
of work
on
that he does.
Yeah, I think just the amount of ownership that he had, because I know that the family was getting 9 figures, like between 8 and 9 figures there at the end for the Keeping Up franchise every year, which is insane. Like, they basically were like, here's $65 million, like, split it up or whatever.
That's crazy, man. So you'll keep up with them one more time, and we'll see what ventures they continue pushing out.
So best of luck. Let's raise a glass. Send them off.
Oh my goodness.
All right, what else you got, brah?
Let me open up my notes here.
When we got to your week and my week, it's been a hectic work week, but got to host my old boss Kim Lennon on a big design happy hour last night for Appreciate Social.
Excellent.
Had 25 people in the experience, and it operated flawlessly.
Sounds incredible.
Yeah, just you know, we've been growing, and now we're kind of settling in with new talent, new processes, and charting for the future, and it's been exciting. So excited for that. I do have some notes just from other things that I did want to touch on.
Okay.
Let's do some quick fire real quick. I don't want to spend time on these, but just to circle back.
Hit it.
So Tory Lanez was drunk when he shot Meg Thee Stallion.
I had that in my notes too.
Bro,
what was his did you read his apology?
I didn't read the whole thing. I just saw that he said, "I'm sorry, I'm drunk."
I got you.
All right.
He says, "I know you're probably never going to talk to me again, but I genuinely want you to know I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart." And then it goes on to state, "I was just too drunk." And then it says, as the conversation continues, Tory goes on to reiterate the drunkenness was the cause of his violent actions, because I genuinely just got too drunk.
Oh, okay, bro.
Yo, you're a wordsmith. You're a rapper. And you had, how many weeks ago did this happen? You had all this time, and that's I
wasn't gonna
shoot come up with?
Meg Thee Stallion, but then I got drunk. Yeah. Like, somebody already did that song, bro.
Yeah. Yikes.
What's happening with him? Is he done? Is he gonna go to jail?
Well, I think she kind of didn't allow for that to happen. I think if she wanted to press charges, she would have.
Oh,
Like, I think she's kind of being gangster about it, and not.
she's like, you can have your WA pistol.
Yeah. So that's that.
Okay,
Rapid
cool.
fire.
Thanks, Tori. Appreciate you.
I got a rapid fire. Tekashi 6ix9ine. We've talked about him in a while. He's the snitch rapper that basically ratted everybody out, and now he's out of jail. He just dropped his album, and he had been talking about like, oh yeah, I'm not going to lose listens or anything like that. Everybody loves me. He was projected to get 150,000 listens on opening week, and he only got 50,000. So that's 100,000 less than he had anticipated. Your crazy antics have caught up with you, and I hope your listens continue to dwindle.
Oh, shots fired. Pow, pow.
Yeah.
How did Big Sean's opening do?
He, I think he was going to be number one, but then Taylor Swift released a deluxe album with one or two bonus songs that were on the one that she dropped like a month or two ago. So I think she clinched number one, but he's definitely up there, and he's had a very successful week.
Right on.
Yeah.
In other news, Ellen DeGeneres is going to address all as she comes back to the air.
Oh, is she?
Yes.
That missed me.
Not completely canceled.
Okay.
She's coming back. She's going to address the allegations of her
snap.
being mean,
Mean old girl.
demanding cleanliness in the workplace.
Yeah. So I have another story about TMZ saying that they had a super toxic workplace, and somebody's quoted as saying this is somebody that used to work there. They were caught saying like, I got yelled at so much that I was like a scared dog, and I'm like, leave.
Bro, your business model is toxic. Like, you're paparazzi. I love this where it's like, hey, the gentleman's club is a toxic environment to work in. It's like, you know what? Like,
put them out of
the
business.
Gentleman's Club. Like, if it's TMZ, you're a paparazzi. Like, what do you think is going on?
Yeah. So it does not surprise me at all that it's a toxic, maybe misogynistic atmosphere at TMZ, where they're known for lowbrow and lowball news articles.
They're looking for upskirt shots of you at the airport. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
What are we debating here? They're like,
right.
They didn't use my proper pronouns in the KKK.
Oh,
it's like,
you're
goodness. In the KKK.
Yeah.
That's an extreme example, but
that's a great example. I like that.
It was,
that was clever.
Thank you. Wouldn't that be great? The first trans white supremacist that was
goodness.
Like, use my proper pronoun.
Oh.
I need a lady's hood now.
Uh-huh.
What's like Dave Chappelle when he was a blind white supremacist and was a black person?
Yeah.
That's comedy, people.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for being.
Yeah. There was a real life person trending a week or two ago, and everybody was saying that was the Dave Chappelle character because he was a blind black dude who's a Trump supporter, and people are like, who's going to tell him?
I mean, that's so racist in and of itself. Prematurely saying, oh, just because you're black and you're a Trump supporter, you must not be enlightened is very bigoted, technically. Thinking that the black vote is just in for the Democrat is completely bigoted and racist. You're telling because white people, oh, it's a toss-up. I don't know how you lean. You have freedom of choice. Black people, it's like, oh, you're not voting Joe Biden? Are you dumb? Like, that's so racist. That's what Joe Biden got in trouble for on Charlemagne.
Yep.
So that, I'm going to throw that out. Trump got 8% of the black vote the first time that he won. The second time that he will win, I think it could be more.
Yeah, I've actually seen some people saying that they're not going to be voting, like some of my black friends saying that they're not voting for Biden and that they do intend on voting.
So I just reject that premise, and I think that the left has really fallen on they've taken black people for granted. Some of the things Trump in his ineloquent way of saying, what do you have to lose? And like really making a plea in the 2016 election. A lot of people just viewed it too gutturally. I think that, if you look at a business deal between two able-bodied men or an able-bodied man and a woman,
Yep.
you know, this is the arrangement. This is the agreement. I'm not going to be condescending and patronize you because, you know, there is no difference between us, you know, in terms of all these different things. There are certain minorities that start in more disadvantaged places and have more obstacles that we need to look into, you know, in so many different ways.
Yeah.
You know, I always go back to the war on drugs being the number one thing. You know, let's end it.
Right.
Let's make peace.
True.
Let's smoke the peace pipe, so to speak.
Mm.
But I think Trump is going to get more of the black vote because you know how many black people have flourished
Yeah.
during this presidency?
And Biden's, you know, he's talking about the taxes that he's wanting to impose.
Well, and he's
Like he just lost a lot of people right there.
well, and there's so many. Think about the black software engineer who is making six figures and, you know, believes in racial equality, believes in Black Lives Matter, also makes a healthy income and had to work hard to get to that point and doesn't want to just give it all away.
Yeah.
Or views certain types of programs as, you know, the point being that regardless of skin color, the basis on which you vote and different things like that are not respective just to your skin color or at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that, you know, every minority group being an all-time low in unemployment and all of these different things, like the most impactful things for me when Trump comes out and does the job numbers or when he says, I remember one time he said, we created 5 million new jobs in this time period, and 3.8 million of those went to women and minorities. And it was like, whoa, how are you going to combat that? Because again, people are like, he's so toxic, this is an existential crisis. But if you remove his mouth, if you remove his words, and just, it's like, don't think about what hurt you on the news or what hurt you on Twitter. If you just look at your grocery store, your job, your family, your local school, your local church, has he stood up and advocated for those things and gotten you more money in your pocket? Well, I know he has, because even the tax breaks and some of the deductions and stuff have benefited all of us, even under 100,000.
Yeah.
We've all benefited from that. Some people got pay bumps due to those tax breaks and all sorts of different things. And if you have a vested interest in a business or, you know, I'm just saying, I'm not advocating for the guy, but I'm sick of all this. Like, the media thinks that we're third graders, and I'm like, I don't care what you say. You can't hurt me. What did you advance for me?
Sure.
And ultimately, do you want a president that pays pomp and circumstance and is presidential and goes and loses his mind off camera back into a dementia-riddled state, and you take home less money every 2 weeks? On the 1st and the 15th, you have $462 less in your take-home pay. But you aren't constantly offended by Twitter. Delete Twitter. Go to work. Improve yourself. You know? Like, the president is not our moral compass.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's all about your money, because money is the great equalizer. And anybody that tells you otherwise is kind of lying to you. You know, Kanye has so many more opportunities, advantages, and platforms and resources than I do. Has nothing to do with our skin color. You know, it has to do with what he's done, what he's produced, what he's owned.
Yep.
I'm just... So,
yeah, there you go.
That's my thing. That's my thing. That is a funny meme that you brought up, though.
Thank you.
But it does piss me off because it's so condescending.
Yeah.
I feel like even approaching some of these interracial conversations or dialogues with almost with too much tact is condescending. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know. It's off-putting. It never comes up in my conversations when I'm, you know, the big bad white man in a conversation with a minority. It's always just like, hey, what are you working on? How's the day?
Yeah.
What'd you think about that game? Like, and maybe I need to solicit even deeper relationships with people that can espouse some of these views to me. But I just find it condescending when the vote is just predisposed to go in a certain way.
Yeah. I completely understand that.
And in the latest news, Trump is nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize for brokering a peace agreement or whatever happened between Israel and the UAE.
Crazy.
So it's hard because every single thing is discredited, but it's kind of like a scoreboard situation. he's kind of like over here like Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like beating impeachment, getting nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Same year, 2 quarters apart. Like, we're in this new norm where the stock market will go to unprecedented highs, and then they'll do it in a pandemic, and then he'll get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, half of our citizenry literally think he's Satan incarnate. And 2/3 of the, probably 80% of the national media has 93% negative coverage and focuses only on his immaterial words, like his bedside manner. They're like, hey, the old grumpy guy that's focused on the economy, he's not great about comforting us in times of woe.
Mm-hmm.
No crap, he's not. How many CEOs do you call for your Talkspace session? Probably not a lot, is my guess, because they'd be like, why haven't you already figured out a solution to the problem you're presenting me?
Sure. Yeah, I would say the only reason it does matter is because media makes it matter. And then I do believe that sometimes his rhetoric, like I talked about it last episode, I think, like I just believe that sometimes his rhetoric incites violence, just the way that he speaks. And because that is, retweeted and everything, and everybody makes such a big deal out of it, it gets more coverage. I would totally agree with you if we could just all ignore it. But the fact that it's not being ignored and then other people are taking that to heart, like he may not be doing anything terribly wrong. Like he may have actually, or the country may have actually benefited from him as far as, jobs and everything like that. But I do think the way that he speaks, does have a negative impact just because it's held under a microscope and everybody's listening to it. Like that's the only thing. I totally agree with you that we shouldn't care as much. And if we could just ignore it, then everything would be better. But that's not how our media works.
Yeah, and my imploring on this issue to the listener is like just to take honest stock of your situation before and after the presidency from a personal P&L standpoint. Like, are you living in a better spot? Are you taking home more money every 2 weeks? Have your investments gained market value? Have your rights been less infringed upon? Has it been easier to start that banana split stand or lemonade stand or Pokebop store in that local strip center, or start an e-commerce business online? Those are the real tangible nuts and bolts of a can-do capitalist society that we live in, that we should get back to the core tenets of. I can't deny that, of course, is his mouth like it's indefensible. I'm not going to sit here and do that. However, he is like that match at the edge of that runway of like little dried out pine needles leading to the big wood fire. And the media is just the gasoline that just, if they were truly concerned, they wouldn't be resyndicating this 24 hours a day and making money off of it. It's so convenient when you're for profit, but you can masquerade as public servants.
Yes. And I would agree that the media doesn't care as much as they do, but they know, shock value, and they know the amount of, like, they're looking at the numbers and what brings people to their page or gets retweets or likes on Instagram. Like, they're looking at all these things and they're seeing everybody mass panicking and, trying to spread the message. But in turn, like, all you're doing is fanning the flame.
And I would submit to you that the CNN White House is TMZ on a different beat.
Yeah.
So they're all just people with cameras and notepads, and they're looking to catch you. They're looking for something with retweet virality written all over it.
Yeah.
And so if you're watching some sort of, toll-free or, commercial-free PBS NewsHour, maybe that's a public service situation. And I do think that the media do play a role in that. How would we know about the hurricanes coming our way if we didn't have proper distribution systems and meteorologists paid at CNN headquarters in Atlanta to let us know that Irma's about to hit? We're standing out here waist. I love when the reporters get ready for it and it's like, who can find the highest water to get swept away? And like, that's my favorite montage.
Crazy.
But they're just people with news cameras and extra makeup.
Yep.
Yep. So, one person's looking for an upskirt shot from Paris Hilton on her way back from LAX. The other's trying to figure out what the president said to Sarah Huckabee while they were on assignment in Iran or wherever, So whatever.
Yeah.
I was going to say something. I've forgotten.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, no, I think you make some good points.
Yeah, and that's all I'm really trying to do. I don't want to convict you one way or the other. Just I like to think that most of America sees everything more circumspectly than how I watch it on an evening news program.
Yeah.
And my media consumption is way down just because I've been reading so much, thanks to Mr. Goggins. But and that's real fodder for, that's real ingredients to build successful life on. It's a good use of time, and getting updated through cable news format is just not a good use of our time.
Yeah.
And I almost watch it more for the showmanship, and also to see, okay, what are my peers ingesting? What do they think if they're not digging any further? Granted, I come at this with my own biases, my own, cultural upbringing and all of this, which did skew right. I'll be completely frank about that, of course. I voted both ways in my lifetime.
Yep, same.
So, anyway.
Yeah. Good points. Let's make it lighthearted for a sec and talk about our villain over the weekend. Can you recall who I'm talking about? Let's talk about the dinner that we got after our movie.
Do we have to?
Oh, Carson and I decided.
Wait, I can't tell that story appropriately. Why would you lead me down this rabbit hole?
Let's circle back to it.
Jeez, like Brad's like, hey, you want to tell this racially insensitive story on the air? Challenge accepted.
All right.
No, I'll tell.
Baby reveals.
There's nothing wrong with the story if I think about it for a second. Thanks for all the, notice beforehand.
Yeah. That's my mistake.
Yeah, I don't know why you even let us down this path.
Yeah.
We're going to skip it. That's for the Patreon episode, bro.
You're right.
Let me go check LinkedIn for a Your Mama joke, which will probably be less offensive than what Brad just wanted to talk about.
All right. While you're looking up that joke, I'm going to talk about the baby reveals for a sec.
Jeez
because
Louise, bro.
My mistake, man. We were on a roll. I thought we were going to get open.
Listen, I still have a job.
All right. The gender reveal party causes a California wildfire. Did you hear about that?
Mm-hmm.
I think it has burned over 10,000 acres at this point.
Yeah, the gender reveals have got to stop, people.
Yeah. So I actually have a quote from the woman who is credited with starting the gender reveal trend back in 2008. And that quote is, "Stop it. Stop having these stupid parties. For the love of God, stop burning things down to tell everyone about your kid's penis. No one cares but you."
Yeah, and that I won't use that term again because it's uncomfortable. But that little kid hasn't done anything.
The word penis?
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious.
It's a body part, bro.
Okay. Well, it's okay.
That's surprising to me.
No, I'm just saying, like, no one cares about your crappy kid. It hasn't helped anybody yet.
Nah.
We don't even know if it's normal. Like, we don't even know if it's, like, we don't know what it's going to do yet.
Show me its accomplishments like at 25.
Shoot off a blue gun or a purple gun, pink gun at 18 when they graduated high school and accepted to something.
Yeah. Summa cum laude,
and it could be service work, it could be trade school. I don't care, but they better have a driver's license and have made money and played a team sport, and
then
they better
celebrate.
know nouns and pronouns before.
Honestly, before 12th grade,
dude. People are shooting off pink balloons, and 18 years later, their kids are learning nouns and pronouns. What are we doing?
Yeah,
COVID, come through. Like, this is ridiculous.
Oh man.
You want to end the episode? Let's end the episode.
I think it's been a great episode.
You're like,
let's see.
Did I get all my bullet points?
I can save them.
Now back to the good part. Okay.
Oh, man, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fun time sitting here with you, Carson. I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Shout out to just our regular listeners, longtime fans, longtime friends of the show.
And Dean will play us out.
Hit us with the Yo Mama.
Play his silly joke.
Yeah.
Dean Colvin via LinkedIn today, 6:11 p.m. It's a SpongeBob SquarePants meme with the Yo Mama joke as the caption. So very clever, Dean. Upping the game here. Twice as nice. Your mama's so stupid she returned a donut because it had a hole in it.
There was a slight pause, and I thought there was going to be like more.
Yeah.
But that was it.
I feel you. I was in some ways hoping for more, but I did just
like the mama.
All right. Rory McIlroy had his first kid before the Tour Championship. He became a dad, and thankfully it happened in between the BMW Championship and the Tour Championship. Mm-hmm. But he went on record to say, he's in his Irish accent. He's like, I'm so excited to be a dad because I can now break out my dad jokes. They've all been stored up in the dado base.
Oh.
It was like,
yeah. You like that one because he plays golf.
I mean, I don't talk to dads unless they do.
All right. Shout outs.
Everybody that I had at mid-show.
Yep.
Appreciate all the love from last week. We're going to have Michael's going to send us a submission or come on the show soon to talk some F1. There was an emotional race that happened over the weekend. Mm-hmm. First time winner ever, Pierre Gasly at the Italian Grand Prix. I wanted to pick his brain on some of that. And we also invited Heston to come on, but he hasn't done so yet. Yeah. So he's got a birthday this week, though. So shout out to Heston.
Shout out Heston. Happy birthday. Let's get you on soon.
Actually, man. Michael does too, I believe.
And potentially happy birthday, Michael.
I think that he does this weekend.
Okay, cool.
So happy birthday to Michael and Heston.
Yeah, we'll clarify that next step.
All right. Thanks, folks.
We'll catch you up next week.